Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special unboxing and review of a package all the way from Germany. As you can tell right here, Leeventi sent out their teleprompter for me to take a look at and review. So in this video we're going to be unboxing it, testing it, and seeing how well it works. Ever since I lost my trusty unboxing knife, I've been using my trusty unboxing scissors. Now this is less of a box and more of a envelope, but anyway, I gotta cut through all this tape here. Let's see if I can get it open. Just cut it a bit more with the scissors here. I didn't want to have to murder this box, but looks like that's the direction we're going in. Oh, there we go. So as you can probably tell if you know anything about teleprompters, this guy does come disassembled, hence the envelope shape here. So we should be able to just pull out all the pieces if this thing will allow it. Here it is. Is that everything? Yep. Okay, so let's see what we've got. So here are the side brackets. There are two of them right here. Then there is a bag of various mounting hardware. They even include a tripod phone accessory, which is a very nice thing. A couple of screws, standard binder clips that you might find if you file paperwork every once in a while. Then here we have, I'm assuming, the top and bottom plate. So this is where you would screw things in, and I think this is the camera plate. So these mounting holes here are where you would mount your camera or phone. And then here is what I'm assuming is the piece of glass that goes in front of the camera. Might have to do a peel on that or something. And then finally, here is the hood to make the whole thing dark. And of course, a little bit of branding there in the corner. That's okay though. They actually do have a tutorial video on how to assemble the teleprompter. There is no instructions included in the package. So I will link that video in the description for you to watch if you end up picking this product up. And I'm gonna watch that video right now and assemble it as well. But first, a peel. Pretty sticky, but still very satisfying. Now to do that 3 more times. Okay, so here is the final product. The video was pretty easy to follow. Essentially, you're just taking these plates, wedging them between the two side panels, securing them with some anchors, and applying the cloth over top with a few various clips around the outside, 4 of them. It's quite simple, very straightforward, and once this is together, it's actually quite solid. These plates, they're quite solid. The glass does shake a little bit, but yeah, this thing does not wiggle at all, which is quite a good thing if you're going to be putting a DSLR on it, such as I am. So if we peel back this cloth, you can actually see what's going on here. So right here is the camera plate. Your camera or smartphone for that matter is going to be looking through this glass just down here. And then on the opposite side, this is the plate where your tablet or smartphone or other device is going to be resting. And they actually include a bunch of rubber feet. So you can rest your device and it's not going to slip around at all, which is another good thing because you are potentially putting quite a valuable piece of technology on this stand. Ignore the change in camera just here for a second. I am just on my phone right now. Camera is sitting right over here to show you what the teleprompter looks like mounted on a tripod. So here it is. The tripod plate or hole for the tripod plate is right here at the back, and there's a little washer that you use to secure it. So it just locks in via your normal tripod plate right here in the center. So the tablet or phone part just kind of hangs out this way. Then your cameras can be mounted back here underneath this cloth, of course. So that's how it's looking. Obviously, you should probably lower your tripod once you put the teleprompter on because now your camera is going to be up higher. And of course, it just barely fits with my monitor and big key light in the studio here. So that is looking good. Now I'm going to mount the camera and we can give this guy a proper test. Okay, so you are now looking at me through the teleprompter glass. Everything's looking great. I did notice a little bit of vignetting up in this corner, so I just zoomed in on the camera lens a little bit. No issues. You can also reposition your smartphone if that's a problem for you. I also had to reposition my tripod because the camera was at a different height and perspective than before, so that was no problem. And then the only other thing to note, if you're using a DSLR like I am and you have a microphone, like a shotgun microphone that hangs out on top, could be a bit of a problem because the cloth is in the way. You might be able to get away with it. For me, my microphone is mounted right underneath the camera frame, so no issues for me there. But just watch out for that when you are setting up your teleprompter. Okay, so now that all that is working, let's see if we can get some text projected onto this teleprompter. So Leeventi actually has their own web-based software that you can use. There's just a website and a product code that you need to access it. So I've got this iPad here, and don't mind that it's plugged in. I'm just recording the screen right now so I can share this with you. Great thing about this software is that it is web-based. There's just a website that you go to access the software, so it's no big deal if you're using, you know, some random device. If you're using an old device like this one, this is still running iOS 10.3.3. So it's great to still be able to use the software even though this is, you know, kind of an older device. So to access the site, I'm just in Safari. You can use whatever browser you want. You need to go to voice-teleprompter.com. As you can see, it already pops up for me because I've been there before. So hit go and you will be redirected here. So you will need to log in with the code that you either purchased with the teleprompter from their site or separately. I believe it's about 11-12 euros for a year license. So I'm just going to grab my product code here. Now what you want to do is there's a couple of things you can do. You can put your text in, for example, and you should also consider setting up the included remote, included with some variations of the product. This is just a Bluetooth remote, so I'm actually just going to turn it on and pair it right now, so we can also test this out once I paste in some text. Okay, so now you can see I've just pasted in some random Latin text here. Nothing too interesting, I just didn't have anything else. So this is just going to be for testing purposes. Obviously, I'm not going to be reading this. But if we play it, that seems to be working. Then you can also scroll as such, just adjust your spot. In the settings here, you can change the font size. So if your, teleprompter's a little farther away, you can adjust that. The scroll speed. So if you're a really fast reader, I don't think anyone's gonna be going much above the stock speed. And then also, importantly, there is a audio input. So your device can automatically detect when you're reading the text that's on screen. I've seen demos, works pretty well. I'm not going to use it at this particular moment because, as I said, I'm not reading this. Then also, very importantly, there is the mirroring mode. So since you're going to be putting your tablet in front of the reflective glass, it's going to be backwards when it reflects. So you'll need to turn on the mirroring mode so the text is in the correct orientation for you to read from the teleprompter. Okay, then as I mentioned, there's also the Bluetooth remote. Pretty generic iOS gamepad remote, but it does work. So you're going to want to turn it on to use it by long pressing the start button here, just a couple of seconds. There'll be a blue flashing light. Then of course you connect via Bluetooth and the light will stop flashing, which means you are connected. So when you're in the teleprompter software, you use the triangle button to start and stop. So then I press it again and it stops. Then you can also use the joystick right here to move up and down the text. Again, very handy if your teleprompter and camera happen to be a bit farther away from you. Maybe you're using a telephoto lens. Maybe that's just the nature of the studio you're in. Either way, very handy feature and does prevent you from having to get up in order to reset the teleprompter. Okay, so now I have the teleprompter in front of me. The iPad is on the stand, currently projecting text, as you can see from this video feed right here from my phone. It is working quite well. And of course, looking out at me, there's no visual artifacts. Like I'm looking at my monitor just over here. You can clearly see through the projection, so no big deal there. And the iPad, very stable on the stand. Those non-slip feet that are right under it make a very great surface. It's a little wobbly, mostly because of the crappy tripod I have it on. I have my good B-roll tripod back there. It's working quite well. I can clearly see the text even when it's moving. The mirror mode is working great. And the remote is also a good thing. In my case, you don't really need to reach that far to control it, but it's still more convenient. And just one thing to mention, if you are using a device to project the text onto the teleprompter glass, you will need to make sure it's at a higher brightness setting so you can clearly see it. It doesn't make that much of a difference for me because my studio is, darker than most. It's pretty moody in here, but just to make sure you can clearly see what you're reading, turn up that brightness on your phone or tablet. So for this last part of the video, I want to talk about why having a teleprompter is such a good idea for making videos on YouTube or just the internet in general. If you do a lot of heavily scripted work, such as product reviews, opinion pieces, or news, having a teleprompter is a really great way to make sure you're getting all of the information points that you have in the script into the final video while maintaining perfect eye contact with the audience, because you, of course, are looking directly at the camera lens. This is why late night shows and news broadcasts mount teleprompters on their moving dolly cameras. They want very specific things to be said on the show, while the host remains personable and engaged with the audience. If you don't believe me, this part of the video is scripted, and I am now reading from the teleprompter. See how well this is working? Anyway, those are just my thoughts on why a teleprompter is useful to the various different people in the video making space. And there's not anything else out there quite like this particular product from Leeventi. It's not hard to set up, and once you do have it set up, it's easy to mount to your tripod and camera or smartphone so you can start using it right away. And you get to use a tablet or smartphone that you already have for the projection instead of paying for something separate and expensive. Their software is quite useful as well, and having it web-based is a huge plus for compatibility, and overall, I really do like this product, and for the price, you cannot beat it with anything else on the market. So that's it for this video. If you are interested in purchasing the Teleprompter by Leeventi, check out the link in the description below to their website and online store, and also make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future reviews like this. Oh my god, I'm dying. We need to check the audio. We need to check that audio. Holy sh**. What if it's terrible?